Thanks for your company here on East Asia tonight. Donald Trump has hosted former Japanese Prime Minister Taro Aso at Trump Tower in New York. Now, the Republican presidential nominee-in-waiting welcomed Mr. Aso at the lobby before heading into the building for talks that lasted about an hour. Now, the Japanese former leader is a close ally of assassinated former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and is currently vice president of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party. For more, we're joined by our senior correspondent, Michiyo Ishida. She is in Tokyo for us. Mitch, this meeting comes just 2 weeks after Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's visit to the United States. What's been the reaction to these two gentlemen meeting in Japan?
Well, I've been speaking to political watchers, and they think that the Biden camp is unhappy with the Aso-Trump meeting, and they are worried that the meeting could strain Mr. Kishida's ties with Mr. Biden, because it was, as you said, just 2 weeks ago that Mr. Biden hosted Mr. Kishida in Washington as a state guest, and the two leaders agreed to forge a global partnership to face challenges together. And relationship between the two countries was at its height. But then we see Mr. Trump and Mr. Aso together on camera. And Mr. Aso is not just any Japanese parliamentarian. He was prime minister. He's vice president of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party. And perhaps Mr. Trump saw this as a great media opportunity ahead of election. Here's what he said on camera when the two met.
Shinzo was a great friend of mine. He was truly a great man and somebody that we all respected and we really loved. And I miss him greatly.
Well, when Mr. Trump was U.S. president, Japan's prime minister was Mr. Shinzo Abe. Mr. Abe was known to have notched good ties with Mr. Trump by meeting him in New York when Mr. Obama was still in power. And since they spoke often, played golf together, but Mr. Abe, as you know, was assassinated in 2022.
Mitch, the pictures that we saw just now, I mean, that was going to grab headlines, wasn't it? Quite the photo opportunity for the media. The Japanese foreign minister, though, says that Mr. Aso made that visit in his personal capacity. What can we read into the significance of this meeting between these two?
Well, I would say that he wanted to keep it seeming like it's low-key. But, you know, we know that the Japanese Foreign Ministry since last year was looking at the possibility of Mr. Trump returning to power. I heard there were worries because Mr. Abe was not around anymore. And there's this phrase, moshi tora, which started a trend in Japan. Moshi is if tora, torampu, or Mr. Trump. So if Trump, in short. And Mr. Aso, as deputy prime minister in the Abe administration, had met Mr. Trump. So he's best positioned to reconnect Tokyo with Mr. Trump, hedging its bet for U.S. elections. And we heard Mr. Aso's been trying to arrange a meeting with Mr. Trump since the end of last year to strengthen relationship in case he was elected to office. And in January, Mr. Aso was in New York. A meeting did not materialize. It did this time. But analysts question about the timing of the meeting just after Mr. Kishida had a state visit to Washington to meet Mr. Biden.
All right, Mitch, thank you very much for that. CNA's Michiyo Ishida there in Tokyo.